this is a point that I've made a few times. You know, the whole thing about they're not with you. When I say they're not with you, I'm talking about so-called conservative influencers, and I say so-called because things are so fake in this country. It's not a right-wing thing; it's an American thing, American media thing in particular. A lot of fake people playing characters, anything for views, whatever it takes to get attention. Um, so I'm referring to the they I'm referring to are conservative commentators and influencers. Time and time again. Again, I want to separate the things that you believe with the things that you believe. Um, I want to separate that from what the people who you think are with you, what they believe versus what you believe, right? Because I've seen this over and over again. I seen there seems to be a disconnect. I see people, in the real world who are conservatives, who believe in certain things, they have concerns about certain things. Whether it's what books are in schools, um, or it's concerns over, you know, young kids on puberty blockers and all these different things. All these topics. You know the topics, right? I see conservatives who have these views and have these concerns about certain things on one hand. On the other hand, I have a whole bunch of people who are pretending to agree with you, but who actually don't, who are exploiting you. Now, we can say chicken before the egg. Is the reason that you are concerned about certain things and worried about certain things and believe certain things because these opportunists have sort of brainwashed you and manipulated you into thinking these things? Right? Is that how the echo chamber works? They put these ideas in your head and you fall for it, but they're actually totally fake, and they play around with different things and see what gets a reaction out of you, and then they're like, okay, woke stuff. Let me keep talking. Woke, 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 woke. They'll call thing, woke is not even really a thing to them. They just like, this is woke, that is woke, and they look at the views and the metrics and like, okay, this is great, and they'll manufacture. It's like how like TYT will make something racist when it's not racist. They see that makes them money. You talk about racism and it makes you money, it's engagement. So, a cop shoots a guy and the cop happened to be so-called white and the guy happened to be so-called black. Oh, racist cop, right? They just say that, and then the audience. So it's like chicken before the egg. If not for TYT, would the audience automatically have assumed that this is some racist cop? Or is it TYT that's been constantly putting these ideas in their heads to where they see racism everywhere? So even though in this moment, TYT might put a video and say racist white cop, the audience is already primed to believe that, and they actually are in automatic mode to where they'll believe that without the even having to be prodded. So the conservatives, they have a similar effect as well, where they're primed to believe certain things. You have people who, just say whatever that gets them views, and they see it's like, they're testing out things. Oh, when I say this, I got a lot of engagement, a lot of retweets and whatever. I'll just say more of that. So even if it's a real thing, my focus is on making money and maximizing profit. So even if it's a real thing, I'm going to either talk about it when it happens, or if it doesn't happen, I'm going to pretend like it's happening so I can talk about it again to make more money. So I'll leave it to you guys to figure out and ask yourself why it almost seems like to me the main people that are agreeing with you guys on some of these hot button topics are people who don't actually agree with you. You know what I mean? Like if these viewpoints are actually valid, right? Your concerns about books in schools. I'm not saying there's no school that doesn't have a book that doesn't have issues. I mean, there's literally schools where the teachers are raping the kids, right? I mean that's a thing that's been happening for quite a long time. So there's sick teachers out there, right? But this narrative about these books, and they're trying to indoctrinate the kids, and they're grooming the kids and all this kind of stuff. I feel like the audience of right-wing media and the followers of right-wing media influencers definitely seem to believe these things, and they're definitely concerned about these things. But yet, for some reason, it's really hard to find a conservative influencer who actually believes it as well. The evidence seems to suggest that they don't actually believe this stuff. So why is that? Why is it only the audience that believes these things? Why is it seems that the only people who are influencers in right-wing media who are agreeing with you guys on these things don't actually agree with you, and they're pretending. Case in point, Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder made a lot of videos talking about groomer. So he gives the appearance he's on your side. You know, we gotta protect the kids and this election stuff. You know, I don't know what's going on with the election stuff. Yet I don't think he did a single video about actual election fraud, right? All these people that went to jail for election fraud, I don't think he did a single video. So clearly he doesn't actually care about election fraud. If he did, he would talk about it when he sees it, right? He wouldn't just be only interested in viral videos of something about markers or whatever. So that right there shows evidence. He's not really concerned about election fraud, but his audience is, right? Again, chicken before the egg. Chicken before the egg. Is the audience concerned about this because people like Steven Crowder have manipulated them into thinking this way? Or did the audience, are they the originators of this, and he's capitalizing on it? Like, oh wow, they really think this election stolen stuff. Okay, so now I'm gonna pretend to agree with them because that's gonna make me money. Oh, you think the election's stolen? Oh wow, okay. Hey guys, look at these markers. I don't know. Look at this wagon. I don't know. Right? Is that what's going on? But yet again, another example. Groomer. Oh, these books. Oh, we gotta protect the kids. They're trying to groom the kids. Whatever. Meanwhile, there's just been an ongoing scandal with Steven Crowder that for some reason right-wing media doesn't seem interested in talking about, even though there's been a split in right-wing media. Right? We had Candace Owens go after Steven Crowder and hint that she has these deep secrets or whatever. Yet, where is she now? Where are all these right-wing influencers? Right? I thought there was a big war going on. Why there seems to be no interest? All this groomer. And see, it's not just Crowder, by the way, right? So Crowder talks about groomer talk. Meanwhile, he looks himself to be a groomer. Meanwhile, all the other people in right-wing media who keep talking about groomer, all of a sudden they lost interest because it's Steven Crowder. Again, if they really were worried about the kids like their audience, then they would be really excited to go after Crowder, especially when Crowder went against, you know, maybe people that they like they went after Daily Wire and all this kind of stuff. So, okay, well, Crowder sucks. Look what he did. He's calling out Daily Wire, and you think Daily Wire was correct. Okay, and now we're finding out it looks like he's a groomer, and we love talking about groomers because we're really concerned. Oh, we're gonna give it to him now. Crowder is a groomer. Look what he's doing. I'm not saying you gotta call him a groomer, but definitely you should have a lot of interest in talking about this really questionable conduct of Steven Crowder, right? So the fact that right-wing media is not all over this suggests that, again, they are not with you. If you're worried about groomers and you're worried about the kids, for some reason, all the people with big platforms don't agree with you. Why is that? This is what they do for a living. They're always looking at this stuff, and they're online and looking at news things, and they keep talking about it. So they're the ones who have the most information, right? Because that's all they do. That's how they make a living. So why is it the people who are most informed about what's going on, theoretically, seem to be not so concerned about it, right? Because again, if they were concerned about it, you know, look at Steven Crowder, right? If that bothers you, wow. I don't care that Steven Crowder is a conservative. I'm a conservative. I have to protect the kids, and this guy seems like a disgusting man. I'm gonna call him out. Steven Crowder sent draconian non-disclosure agreements to half of his staff, with a $100,000 breach of contract penalty after media reported on allegations of workplace misconduct at the right-wing commentators Rumble show. 5 current and former staffers said. Last month, media reported on allegations of bullying, inappropriate drug use, and lewd sexual workplace misconduct. By the way, we have to say, such and such smeared Steven Crowder. Such and such smeared Steven Crowder. Right? Hit piece. It's a hit piece. It's impossible for somebody that you like, an influencer that you like, to ever be wrong or to ever do anything wrong, right? If someone's making a video that is attacking somebody you like, they're smearing them and it's a hit piece. It couldn't possibly be that they're actually being exposed for something legitimately disgusting that they did, right? That can't be the case, right? That's only the case when it's somebody you don't like. Somebody you do like, it's a hate piece that's being together. Anyway, 2 hours after we get published the follow-up report detailing an internal staff meeting at Louder with Crowder, in response to the initial story, in which the CEO, Gerald Morgan, told staffers they could no longer communicate with former employees, NDAs were sent out. The agreements, which were reviewed by Mediaite, were emailed to current Louder with Crowder employees on July 26 and read in part. Employees maintain in the premises and covenants not to disclose confidential information as defined in the amendment. Company will provide employee with confidential information during the period of employee is employed by the company. The agreement added that if a breach of contract should occur, the employee would be liable to the company for liquidated damages in the amount of $100,000. Wow. He's going to try to get $100,000 from his employees, which I'm sure they're pretty poor. I hereby acknowledge that said, and by the way, it's a normal thing. NDAs are normal. He has to protect his regular business, and he can't have people going out there and smearing him and whatever. And and people smear him. It hurts the business, and if it hurts the business, it's going to hurt the other employees. So he's actually protecting the other employees, because by him putting the NDA, he's protecting the company, and the company is what is, allowing these people to feed themselves, right? How do they pay their rent? If they work for Steven Crowder, if he goes out of business, they're gonna be homeless. Oh, good point. So, in this meeting that Steven Crowder had, downplayed his sexual misconduct, right? The guy who was groomer. Like I said, you guys are worried about groomers. Steven Crowder ain't worried about groomer. He look like he's a groomer himself. He says, if you're not okay with guys playing sack tap, then this isn't the place for you. If you're not okay with guys playing sack tap, this isn't the place for you. So you're concerned with groomers, and you're concerned about the kids, and things are going too extreme, and the schools, and they're trying to indoctrinate the kids or whatever, right? But Steven Crowder does not agree with you. He's not with you, right? He is perfectly fine functioning as a groomer himself. I don't know why that just happened. He's okay doing some sick, disgusting behavior himself. And again, why is right with me and not talking about this stuff, right? It's all lies and it's smears and this and that. Okay, well, debunk it. Right, debunk it. Why hide from it, right? Either talk about it and call it out the way you would call out other sexual deviancy, right? Or Call out these people smearing Steven Crowder. Such and such smeared Steven Crowder. Right? Do a such and such smeared Steven Crowder video. Such and such smeared Steven Crowder. Right? And then tell your audience what people are claiming and explain how it's all lies. They're doing it because they hate him or because they don't agree with him. Rather than challenge his ideas, they choose to smear. Right? Why just hide from it? And again, there was a war going on, right? Where's Candace Owens? Why she in, oh my goodness, look what Steven Crowder. Is she okay with this conduct? Apparently so, because she's protecting him, it would seem. Four Steven Crowder staffers exit show after interrogations and insane NDAs. So more people are running away. And of course, every single person that calls out Steven Crowder who used to work for Steven Crowder either doesn't exist, or they're rhinos, or they're actual liberals who have been working for this conservative company, putting out all this content about whatever, trans, this and that, the groomers. Like, they were there, these liberals were there, part of all of this. And now, all of a sudden they just turn into, I don't even know. I mean, they were always liberal, they're not turning into nothing. But for some reason they were chilling before now. Now all of a sudden they're like, I can't pretend to be a conservative anymore. Like, what's the explanation, man? How many of Steven Crowder's current or former workers have to call him out before it's like, wow, maybe, just maybe, Steven Crowder's a disgusting human being, exactly as I suspected. I observed his behavior, observed his content, and he seemed to me very clearly to be a very immoral, disgusting character, just like many people in independent media in this country. But in particular, right? Not just like any, I shouldn't say that. He is definitely showed himself to be one of the worst. That was something that was made very clear to me very long ago. And it's so interesting that when the leaks come out, it's just confirming what was already obvious, right? Is it a coincidence? A guy that seems to be very, very just, I lack even the vocabulary to describe how just immoral this guy is. Is it any surprise that his behavior behind the scenes matches, how he appears in front of the scenes, right? It's like this guy who's, I don't know, 60 years old, 50 years old, is always hanging around the local elementary school, always trying to make friends with everybody's kids. And he's not just like, an adult, like, being friendly. Like, he seemed like he really wanted to be friends with people's kids. And, it always seems like he's staring at people's kids, and he says the strangest things, inappropriate comments. He's drunk all the time. Hairy ass chest. I gotta throw that in there. Hairy ass chest. Button down, way down. You know what I mean? Slick back. Or maybe he's got some really thick ass glasses. You know what I'm saying? Like, real reclusive, keep to himself except when kids are around. And then one day it comes out he's been molesting children. And it's like, is anybody surprised? That's Steven Crowder, right? He was just oozing this. Bottom line, once again, Steven Crowder is not with you. He doesn't really believe the election was stolen. He's not really worried about groomers and books in schools and the trans ideology and blah blah blah. This is all catnip that he's using to get you guys all riled up, so you share his videos and comment, and so he can make money. Why Steven Crowder doesn't agree with you, I don't know. I'll leave that for you to decide. You figure it out. Why time after time we find out that these people with the loudest platforms who are talking about these culture war issues don't actually believe them. Now, some of them I would suspect do believe it. Like I think I don't know, that woman, the what's that thing called? Oh my goodness, that lady on Twitter, Libs of TikTok, I think it's called. She seems like a real space cadet type. But you see her though, she's not really doing anything particularly clever. She doesn't really have the it factor, it seems, right? When you look at her kind of like do her little videos. Steven Crowder is a big entertainer. Donald Trump is a big entertainer. Ben Shapiro is a big entertainer. Tim Pool, like these folks, they're really, really good at what they do, putting on these performances that they do. Libs of TikTok doesn't really seem to have that, but she tapped into something that was, everybody's all worried about whatever nonsense she's posting about, and she made a name for herself. But when you look at her, she doesn't seem to be that bright. So I think she kind of a little bit of luck there. Like I wouldn't say Steven Crowder was lucky or Ben Shapiro. These guys are actually talented, right? Little TikTok, I don't see so much. So meaning that she could be a little high in her own supply, because she seems a little bit like a space cadet, man. Some of the stuff that she says, or maybe she's that good that she's playing dumb. I don't know, but I really suspect that she believes at least half of the stuff that she talks about, as opposed to a lot of the big players. To me, a lot of stuff they talk about, it's all catnip. You see somebody back there? This is the Debatement Channel, Debatement comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. I'm telling you guys, they're not with you, man. They are not with you. All right, let me go get my food. I'm hungry. I'm going